Hello everyone, it is me Sasha Kawaii Cat, and in today's video, I will be redesigning Hazbin Hotel characters. First up is Angel Dust. This character is meant to be a spider-like demon, as well as a porn star and pharma mafia boss. In his original design, he's wearing a suit with a bow tie that is very common within the show. His color scheme is mostly pink and white, and he has this pattern on his legs, which I initially assumed were long boots, but I've been told that they're not boots, they're just like his legs. I'm assuming that's true, but I mean, who knows? For these redesigns, I really just wanted to take the basic idea of the characters and interpret them in my own style. I gave Angel very big hair in the shape of a spider to highlight that aspect of his character. I really like drawing big hair, and in Angel's original design, he has some amount of fluff. In the show, only his chest is really fluffy, but I wanted to give him really fluffy hair instead. I also gave him antennas, which I later realized spiders, which are arachnids, do not have, so later on I changed them to horns. In Angel's original design, he's mostly white with some pink, so for his redesign I gave him pale skin and white hair. Additionally, I also gave him big bug-like eyes. I did go back and forth with the design for his eyes because I couldn't decide if I wanted to give him 4 or not. In the end, I do end up giving him 4, but his upper eyes also look like eyebrows, but they are in fact eyes. For his outfit, I made it very revealing because Angel is a very promiscuous character, but also I really just wanted him to look hot. So I gave him a pink sort of bodysuit with a chest window, long boots, and gloves. To highlight the spider aspect of his character again, I added a spiderweb pattern to his bodysuit. Hearts are also a very common part of Angel's design, so I also made the shape on his bodysuit where the web pattern is the shape of like a heart. I don't know how noticeable it is, but it's meant to look like a heart. I really like fantasy, so I wanted his outfit to look kind of fantasy themed. I'm not sure if I accomplished that, but I do like the design I came up with. For the coloring process, initially I gave Angel a darker outfit, but I realized the bright pink with gold looked a lot better. Overall, I'm very happy with how the drawing turned out. The only thing I changed is that I'd make him a bit less muscular because I do think of Angel as being very thin, but I still really like how this design turned out. My main goal was to make him really pretty and hot, and I think I accomplished that. Next up is Alastor the radio demon. Alastor is a demon who, as far as I know, is a dare/wendigo inspired creature. So the main thing I wanted to do was give him big old dare horns, or dare antlers I should say, because I've made it very clear I do not care for his tiny little baby antlers. I've definitely mentioned this before in previous videos. So yeah, I ended up with a very dare focused design. He has dare legs, ears, and big dare antlers. I would have loved to have made his antlers bigger, but I didn't want them to take up too much space. I also love drawing long hair and big hair in general as well, so I gave him long hair so I could have it almost sort of draping over his antlers. His hair definitely does not match the time period that he's from, but it definitely does not match the time period in his original design either, so I don't think it matters too much. For his outfit again, I wanted it to be fantasy themed. I wanted his coat to have this pattern that almost looks like ribs, like a rib cage, if that makes sense. He also has a skeletal dare skull tied around his waist and some bones because I thought it would look creepy. I also gave him a pouch, but who knows what he keeps in there. His coat is very torn in the original, and I really like that aspect of his design, so I decided to keep that in my redesign as well. I like to imagine that it was purposefully done, like he just loves that particular aesthetic. For his color scheme, I went with mostly burgundy brown and some red here and there. In his original design, there's a lot of red, which I don't mind on its own, but in the show, he tends to blend in with the background. Initially, I wanted to give him red hair, but I prefer the darker hair. For his sort of microphone staff thing that he has, I wanted it to look like an old school microphone in some ways, but it ended up mostly looking like a spiky wand. For the drawing process, I wasn't really sure about the eyes. Like, I wasn't sure if I should give him pupils or not, but I'm okay with how it turned out. I also wasn't sure if I should make his eyes green or not, since green is the color of Alastor's magic. Part of me does regret not making them green, but I think the gold works as well. I did come up with a design a few months ago that was less fantasy themed and more simple, and it was fine, but also very boring. I much prefer this design. For his teeth, I had a very hard time drawing them. I just felt like the really sharp pointy teeth didn't really work with the design I came up with. I just think his mouth was a bit too small in my drawing to have that type of teeth, but I still tried my best to make them a little bit pointy. I hope they work, I don't know. There are some things I changed, but overall I like this design. I think it looks really cool. Let me know what you guys think in the comment section below. Next up we have Charlie. For Charlie's redesign, my first thought was I wanted her to have a design that highlighted the royalty aspect of her character, because she is the Princess of Hell after all. I also wanted her to have an outfit that matched her original, because I do like her whole pantsuit businesswoman outfit she wears. So in my design, I gave her big round princess type sleeves with golden patterns, as well as pants that are similar to her original, but with gold patterns decorating it as well, which I think makes them look a bit more fancy. This design is also fantasy themed, but again, I still wanted it to match the original just a little bit. I also gave Charlie big demonic type horns with a few gems dangling from it. In the original, her horns, when they do appear, are more pointy, but I thought the golden horns would look more attractive. And I was going for beautiful instead of scary, which I think that her horns in the original is supposed to be scary, and that's not what I was going for. As I mentioned before, I love big long hair, so I made her hair long and curly. In the show, her hair is tied back, which I assume is done for a more professional type look, but I'm not really too interested in her looking completely businesslike. I really just wanted her to look royal and pretty. For her color scheme, it mostly matches her original, unlike with my Alastor redesign. Her skin is still pale and her hair is still blonde, just a bit darker. Her pants are also black in her original design, but I thought having her in all red would look a lot better. I think Charlie is meant to look like a doll because she has these red marks on her cheek that look like painted on blush, but they didn't really look right on my design, so I decided to remove them. I mentioned in the Alastor section I wanted to add green to his design, but I ended up giving Charlie some green gems instead. For the shading, I had some trouble shading her hair, but eventually I figured it out. I do think a lot of things changed in Charlie's redesign. I played around with different looks for her. At one point I was going to give her a more simple outfit, as well as a really long braid, but I didn't really like how the drawing was turning out, so I ended up scrapping that idea. I also almost gave her smaller curled back horns, but I do prefer the larger curled goat type horns instead. I also wasn't sure what pose I wanted to give her, so in the end I just gave her a pose similar to the one she's doing in the reference I used. I still like the finished drawing, and please comment below and let me know what you think. Lastly, here is my Vaggie redesign. For Vaggie, I'm pretty sure she's supposed to be inspired by a moth, so I pulled up some images of moths to use as references. The first thing I added to her design based on these moths are these huge eyebrows that look sort of like the antennas that moths have. I also wanted her hair to look like moth wings similar to the original. Initially, I wanted a more intricate design, similar to an actual moth's wings, but it ended up looking more like the original, which is fine. I still like how it turned out. This design went through a lot of changes because I had to figure out how I wanted her outfit to look, and I wasn't really sure what I wanted. I just knew it was gonna be fantasy themed and that I wanted it to match her original a little bit. So initially, I think I gave her a corset along with a puffy sleeve top and a skirt, but I ended up changing it because I wanted to change her body to make her more curvier. I also wanted the design of the top and the skirt to look kind of like leaves or even wings. I'm not sure. That aspect might not be very obvious on her design. Part of me wanted to give her armor because in the show she's secretly an angel warrior. Spoilers. She's an angel warrior. She's also supposed to be a fighter, but I really just wanted her to look cute and fancy, kind of like Charlie. She definitely should be holding a spear in her hand, but I decided not to. In her original design, Vaggie has an X to represent her missing eye. I really like that design choice. I wanted to do something different though, so instead I gave her an eye that's completely white and has a very cool scar over it. She also has additional scars on her body from being attacked by her fellow angels. I also gave her a little bag around her waist, similar to ones that I gave to Charlie and Alastor, but I couldn't tell you what she keeps in it. For her color scheme, I initially wanted her to be pink and yellow based on a reference of a moth I was using at the time, but I really didn't like the color scheme on Vaggie, so I decided to go with a more purple and white color scheme instead. I do think if she had this color scheme in the show, it would add a bit more contrast with the mostly red backgrounds, but to be honest, I mostly just made her purple because I felt like it would look really good. Purple is one of my favorite colors, and I just think the color looks really pretty on Vaggie. I feel like she'd also look good with a gray skin tone. I think it would look good with the outfit I designed, but I'm happy with the color scheme I gave her in the redesign. I really like how this design turned out. Please let me know what you think in the comment section below. So those are all the drawings. Thank you so much for watching this video. If you like my art and you'd like to show your support, you can always donate to my Ko-fi account. The link to that is always in the description below. Don't forget to like, share, comment, and subscribe, and I'll see you guys next time. Bye!